Well, with potentially Peter Bone now facing a suspension, which will ultimately trigger a recall petition, which, from all we can tell, the people of Wellingborough, I believe, I hope that's pronounced it right. Yep, Wellingborough. They are going to be probably recalling Peter Bone. Ultimately, that is going to be the case, which, of course, will trigger another by-election. There's a lot of people saying that this constituency in particular is very, very much like Tamworth, a by-election. Of course, Labour have just won. So if they have another by-election, which ultimately this could trigger, it looks like you are going to get yet another Labour by-election win, which, again, will ask the cause, will there be a general election in 2024? Well, there's two theories going around on this. And here's the thing. Sunak has no reason to call one next year. Because if you look at the polls now, he's not exactly going to call one when he's going to get absolutely wiped out. Why would he? Who would call time on your own government like this? But remember, this week is Rishi Sunak's first year in office. He has had a year. And already we're getting rumors that there's already letters in the 1922 committee. Rishi Sunak could just generally be pulled in the direction to have an early general election. But I offer you potentially a scenario that could happen. That a general election could be, if you keep with the traditional Thursday result, of course, that a general election could be called on the 23rd of January, 2025. So, let's go over why I think that might be the case. And of course, given law, that is legally the last date that Sunak can call for one. So, as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help and support the channel. Like I say, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a notification link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And of course, as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help support the channel. Even if you do, just click on the like and share button. Of course, there is the YouTube thank you button as well down below. And of course, the Pony Club as well. So, what could happen here? Well, as they say, a week can be a long time in politics. And given the fact that Labour have just won two fantastic by-election victories, causing the Tories to go into absolute panic and depression, the ultimate call now for when there will be a general election is unfortunately in Rishi Sunak's head. And of course, he ain't going to call one now. The likelihood of him calling one now for an election to take place in the next 6 months, which would be early 2024, are very unlikely. Sunak has to hope that in the next couple of months, that somehow, in some way, he is going to be able to do something. But here's the thing, he can't do anything. Long-term projects, he ain't going to do anything, because the likelihood is he's going to lose the next general election. So why should Rishi Sunak commit to anything like building HS2 or building any long-term infrastructure projects when we have seen the northern suggestions all be focused on real short-term projects that can be completed within the next year? Then Sunak could turn around and say, hey, look, we've invested in infrastructure. When in reality, all he's done is filled some potholes, which, as I've said before, when this was announced, should not be the focus of central government. That is a local council issue. The central government should not be focusing on filling potholes. But that's where we are, that Rishi Sunak cares more about filling a pothole than investing and building Britain's high-speed rail future. So this takes us, of course, into 2024. And what's Sunak going to be looking for? Well, first of all, he's going to be hoping and praying for a miracle. But that has been his strategy all this year. Since he got in, he has been hiding under his desk like this, hoping and praying for a miracle, hoping that something will happen, something will change to change the economic future, to say, hey, look, we're back. We're a party of fiscal responsibility again. There's even rumors that he's now going to do exactly what Liz Truss did and undo bankers' bonuses potentially at the next budget, which, to be honest, did not go down well when Liz Truss announced it. It's hardly going to go down well when Rishi Sunak announced it. All it's going to do is play to the right wing of the Tory party, which may decide to delay his stay of execution. Needless to say, the budget is going to be a very interesting time indeed when we get to hear that announced, probably in the next coming weeks or so. Not all of that, but of course, we're going to have Liz Truss's alternative budget, which I'm sure will be a complete laugh-a-minute read when we get our hands on that as well. But unfortunately, we are now left with this absolutely Sunak shambolic government, unable to do anything, unable to pass any real bills because the party is so fractured, it's arguing amongst itself about what is the direction it wants to go in, what it wants to do. And you've already got people arguing about they should be the next natural leader. We've got Suella Braverman putting forward her pitch, not only at the party conference, but the National Conservative Conference. We've got the Express coming out and saying that Kimi Badnoch is topped to be the next natural leader of the Conservative Party. And of course, not forgetting, we've got potentially, I think, Liz Truss, who will absolutely throw her hat back into that ring. So all they're arguing, while Sunak is effectively doing nothing, while hoping and praying for a miracle, which, as we said, has been his strategy all last year, wasn't exactly the most effective strategy. The polls are not changing in his favor. So the last possible date he can call a general election will be the 23rd of January, 2025. So we are potentially going to have another year of absolutely shambolic, ineffectual government because Rishi Sunak wants to try, and as we said before, his strategy is to lose goodly, to use a Trumpian phrase, in the hope that he can retain enough seats to be a somewhat effective opposition. But I'll tell you now, once they lose, Rishi Sunak ain't staying around. He is being given the boot. And if he makes the decision to try and stay, well, oh boy, will the Conservatives make it very clear he ain't staying. Because, like I say, there'll be Braverman, there'll be Patel, there'll be Liz Truss, and who else wanting his seat? So, will a general election take place in January of 2025? Well, Rishi Sunak's a complete inactionist. So, it's highly probable that, yes, he will probably just use his sheer inaction to wait to call a general election for the 23rd of January, 2025. That is probably on the cards of when we will potentially see the next general election. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to wait out until then to finally get these Tories out of power. So, until then, well, hopefully not until then, but of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.